Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here in the Water Juice channel, and welcome back for the final time to the Chicago Cougars Relocation franchise here on MLB The Show 22. And I say the final time because this is the finale episode of the series. As we all know, MLB The Show 23 has already dropped from early release, but the actual release date is this coming Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever the 28th is. I don't know what this exact. I guess I could just check. The 28th is a Tuesday, so the drop is Tuesday, but it already is out for people who have the early release. So this is going to be the final Chicago Cougar video probably ever, because I don't think I'm going to bring the Chicago Cougars back at any time for Madden or NBA or anything like that. So this might be the final time. That's a little sad. That's a little sad to think about. Maybe. We don't know. Things can change. Plans change. But this is going to be the final one in MLB The Show. If you enjoy my MLB The Show content and you enjoyed this series, go follow my Juice Baseball channel, which is linked in on my channel. I might even drop a link in this video if I remember. But go follow that, because I am about to be starting up some very fun MLB The Show 23 content. But right now, we are finishing up the final season of the Cincinnati Reds rebuild that we are doing, that I was doing for a while on MLB The Show 22. So we're finishing up that. We're in the final season. I'm trying to pump those videos out on that channel. So if you enjoy my MLB The Show content and you're sad that this series is ending, go over and check the Juice Baseball channel. See if there's anything that you are interested in, and go give it a follow. Otherwise, this will be the final time for at least a while that baseball content shows up on this channel. But that's okay. Everything needs to have its end on the channel. But we are going to be kind of reminiscing with this team, going over some of the things that we've gone through in this series. I don't expect it to be super long in terms of a video. I don't expect it to be like a half hour or 45 minutes or anything like that. Maybe it will be, just because I tend to draw things out with talking. That sometimes I do that. But for the most part, I feel like this is probably going to be in the 15 to 20 minute range. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. But let's get started into it so that it's not a half hour of me just doing the intro. If you guys are excited, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's get this started. Alright, so this is just going to be a chill little video where we reminisce and we review what went down in this series. So we ended up going, how many years? We ended up going, let's see, 7 years? No, we started in it starts us in 2022, right? It starts us in 2022. Then we did 2022 season, 23 season, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So we did 7 seasons. That's pretty impressive. We did 7 or 8, whatever. And we made the playoffs the last 4. We won a World Series. We won the division 3 straight years after struggling 4 straight years. Oh, no, 3 straight years. I saw the expectation win the division, and I assumed that it was we won it 4 straight years. We only won it 3 straight years. We won the World Series one time in 2026 when we won 92 games. Unfortunately, we also lost in the ALDS back-to-back seasons, which I'm still not really over that loss. I don't know how we did it. I'm kind of sick, actually. I'm kind of sick that we lost that, because we should have had at least 2, if not even 3 World Series rings to our resume. But obviously, we started out as any rebuild does. We moved the Oakland Athletics from Oakland to Chicago to become the Chicago Cougars. We started out horrible. We won, I think, like 60-something games. Then we won, maybe like 70 games. No. I think we had 2 seasons straight where we finished 80 and 82. I think those are those 2 years right there. The one you can't see because it's cut off. But I think we won back-to-back years where we won 80 games. Then we picked it up. We made the wild card, won 94 games. Then we won the World Series the next season. Then we lose the ALDS back-to-back seasons. But we won 90 games for 4 straight years. So I'd say that's a pretty solid, progression. And we also won a World Series. So the rebuild technically is a success. I know that we didn't win as many World Series championships as I would have liked, or maybe I would have predicted. But we do end up winning a World Series. So in the end, you can check this off as a successful rebuild. We did rebuild the Oakland Athletics to win a World Series. We just didn't win as many as I would have liked. We did, however, win 10 consecutive games 3 times. Right? Or did we do it 1 time? No. That's the count. Okay, we did it 3 times, but that is the count for... Wait, no. No, I got it backwards. So we only did it 1 time, but we were on a current streak of 3 out of 10 before the season ended. That's how it was. Okay, I had my things mixed up. They were backwards. We won 20 games in a single month only 1 time. I think that was probably obviously towards the end, probably even in this final season. I don't remember. I guess, can I check the schedule? I can't check the schedule, I don't think. Oh, I can. Okay. So when we would have won 20 games, this might have been it. August 2028 when we had that crazy month. Or maybe in July we had a crazy month. I don't know. I guess I could count them. So I'm guessing it would count from August 1st because that's the first of the month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we didn't win 20 games. When we would have won 20 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No. I don't think... maybe it was in May. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We won 17 games in May. It must have been from a different year. I thought that it might have been from this year. I guess it could be from September. There's a lot of losses in here, though. I don't think it is. So, I don't know. I guess we will never know unless I go back and check. But we won 95 games in a season 1 time. We got close. Obviously, we had 94 wins twice. We did get close there. But we never finished with the best record in the major leagues. We were always second best. Postseason, we never won a wild card game because the 1 time we played in the wild card, we lost. We never swept a division series. We never swept a ALCS or a LCS. We never swept a World Series, and we never went undefeated in the postseason. We did do a lot of stuff in the game stats. So we scored 20 runs in a single game 1 time. We struck out 20 batters in a single game 1 time. We hit 5 home runs in a single game 23 times. That's pretty impressive. We never stole 5 bases in a game, but we did hit 7 doubles in a game 6 different times. That's crazy. And hitting 3 triples in a game 5 times, that's also crazy. Turning 4 double plays in a single game, we did that 5 times. We did a lot of crazy stuff in this series. League leaders. We never led the league in batting average, hits, or doubles, but we did lead the league in triples once, home runs twice, and RBIs once. Never in runs, never in stolen bases, but twice in slugging percentage, OPS, and once in wins. I'll take that. Also once in strikeouts and complete games. Never in whip. Those are some pretty solid stats. I'd like to see check marks on all of them for at least once. But hey, that's pretty darn good for, 7 years? We did that multiple times. I'll take that. And then back to the team performance. Obviously, losing the way that we did to the Detroit Tigers was not great. But we had our fair share of starting pitchers in this series. We've gone through a bunch of them, haven't we? We have gone through a bunch of different starting pitchers. I guess we could go around the league and see some former Chicago Cougar pitchers in different uniforms. Gary Robles, didn't he play for the Cougars? He might have been in our bullpen or in our minor league system. I don't remember. That name sounds very familiar. Alex Manoah, my white whale. I never got him in the series. I really tried. Around this time right here, this 3-year stretch. I was really trying to figure out a way to get him, but he was just so expensive in terms of his contract, and he was super expensive in terms of his value to the Blue Jays. So we just never could make it work. But I really wanted him. We never had Shane Bieber, did we? Oh, we had Shane Bieber for one season. That's right. I forgot we had Shane Bieber for one season. He went 13-10, didn't impress me, and we moved him on. I forgot about that. We did have Shane Bieber. We never had Julio Urias. We never had Sandy Alcantara. We never had Sixto Sanchez. Who else did we have? We did have Mike Soroka, didn't we? No, we didn't. We didn't have Mike Soroka. No Logan Gilbert. Who else did we have? Basil Cabrera. We certainly had Basil Cabrera. He was on our team. He was in our minor league system forever. And then he moves on to Washington. Who else? There's got to be some other pitchers. We've had so many different people play for this team. It's crazy. I move on from starting pitchers very easily, so I'm assuming that there's a lot of people. There's Skubal. We had Skubal for 2 seasons. Man, he was really good for those 2 seasons for us. But I didn't feel confident having him on the team. He was very good for us, though. I will give him that. Who else do we have? I know there's some other people. We never had Casey Mize. We never had Oh, we did have Shohei for a season. Did we have Shohei for a season? Or was that for the Cubs? That could very easily be for the Cubs. Did we have Shohei for a season? I don't remember having Shohei. Nah, there's no way we had Shohei. Did we? I wouldn't have traded him, would I? I guess he's making a ton of money. Maybe I did. I don't remember having Shohei. That's crazy. I feel like I would remember that. He made his way to LA, though. That's kind of cool. Oh, Yamamoto. We had Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We had him. We brought him up from international free agency. We got him. And he ends up dominating. Good for... Well, actually, he didn't have a very good season in LA, but he dominated for us for a couple seasons, so good for him. I'm glad to see him, and he's the ace for the Dodgers. Glad to see he has arrived. Our first big free agent signing, one of our first big free agent signing, Jack Flaherty, but then he got hurt. He only played in 13 games this year, then we moved on from him the next season at the trade deadline. I think we must have traded him to Colorado, I would assume. That was our first real big move that we made. I remember that. Shane Baz was also here, 14-10. We traded for him at the deadline. I remember that. Then he didn't really impress me too much, and we moved on. I tell you, I move on from pitchers very, very easily and very, very quickly. Jose Barrios, I think, was even here. I think we had Jose. Was Jose Barrios here? Was Jose Barrios here for a season? He might have been here for half a year. I don't remember exactly. He might have been here for half a year. I'm not 100% sure. We never had DL Hall. Never had any of those guys. We did have Tristan McKenzie. We started the career with Tristan McKenzie, or the save, because we traded, I think, one of our original pitchers from the A's to get Tristan McKenzie, and he was bad. He was very bad for us. Him and Hunter Green were just not developing at the beginning. So look at these numbers: 6 and 17, a 5.43. You probably can't see that because my camera. And then he went 2-8 the next season. Then we traded him. He was bad. He got a little bit better, I guess. Not really. He didn't really get that much better. We never had Tukey, I don't think. No, I don't. We probably didn't have Tukey. Who else? There's Hunter Green. We did have Hunter for a while. He was up and down. He was moving from the minor leagues back up to here. Then he was, look at this. He was in the majors. Then we moved him to AAA. Then the next season he comes back up. Then the next season after that, we moved him back down. Then we traded him away. He had a very up and down start to his career. I kind of feel bad, but then again, I don't. So that is what it is. Jack Leiter was here for a while, and he was good. Jack Leiter was probably, out of everybody, he was one of the originals. It was Tristan McKenzie, Hunter Green, Jack Leiter, somebody else. I'd have to go back and watch that first season. I don't remember exactly who was there, but I know those 3 guys for sure were originals. If I see anybody else that I recognize, then I'll say that. But Jack Leiter was one of the originals, and he certainly, the numbers don't really say it, but Jack Leiter was the best of the original pitchers that we brought in. And then we move him on. He goes to Tampa Bay and does all right. 13 wins back-to-back seasons. That's pretty good. Pretty solid. Who else is around here that's a former Cougar? At this point, everybody could be considered a Cougar. Luis Patino never played for us. Medina never played for us. Dustin May never played for us. He got close, but never played. Matt Manny never played for us. Chad McAlpin, one of the original prospects that we had. Oh, I will never forget this man. I will never forget this man. But then he goes and beats us in the playoffs, so I guess I can't be too upset because he ended up having a decent career. He made his name known in Detroit. It took him a couple seasons to get really warm, but he did. He struggled his first time out, but they didn't. If they would have bailed on him like I bailed on him, then he would probably be on two or three different teams by now. But they didn't bail on him. They committed to him, and he ended up performing pretty well. But I will never forget this man selling games as often as he did. He was the all-time seller. I will not forget about that man right there. Chad McAlpin. Robert Suzuki, we also had in our minor league system. He was one of our international free agents that we brought in, and he did okay for us in the times that he played in 66. Oh, he must have been our bullpen. I was gonna say, how did he pitch in 66 games? But he must have been in our bullpen in that year. I think he was. I think he was our long reliever that year. But he was okay. I never really found any rhythm with him. He was fine. He was a fine player. We didn't have anybody in the Twins. We didn't have anybody that's on the Astros. Nobody that's on the Angels. And then we're back to us. That's just the starting pitchers that were on our team at one point in the series. Noel V. Marte, did he ever make it here? He didn't make it here. Joey Gallo was here for a season. Half a season. We signed. So I'm pretty sure we signed Joey Gallo out of free agency. Right? Or am I thinking of something else? I might be thinking of my Red series. Maybe I'm thinking of my Red series because it doesn't say that he was here. It says that he went to New York and that's real life. And then he's in Washington. So we must not have had him. That must have been my Red series where we signed him and then we traded him that same, like the off season we signed him and then headed into that next season, we traded him at the deadline, I think that's how that worked. So he ended up not ever playing for us in Chicago. What about the Rangers? Is there anybody on the Rangers that played for us? Tyler Soderstrom. Did he ever play for us? He had to have played. I mean, he's an Oakland Athletic. He had to have played for us. He just didn't play for us in the big leagues. He was our minor league guy. What about the Braves? Christian Pache. He played for us for a few seasons. I thought he was going to be the future. I thought he was going to be the future of this organization. He just wasn't developing as quickly as I would have liked. He's now up to an 88 overall, so he's doing fine. And he had a couple good seasons for the Braves. But he wasn't going to work out. We needed to get good right away, and I wasn't patient enough to develop him. So I'm glad to see that he's doing well in Atlanta. What about the Marlins? Anybody here? Nobody that I recognize. There might be some people that I just happen to miss just because I'm an idiot and I didn't realize it or I forgot about them. But doesn't mean that they aren't valuable pieces to what we were trying to build here. Nobody on the Phillies. I wanted to get Riley Green for a couple seasons. I really wanted to get him. He would have been cool to have. Bobby Witt. Did we get him? Yeah, Bobby Witt was a huge... Was he a trade piece? I think he was at the first trade deadline. Yeah. Here's 2022. Bobby Witt was at the first trade deadline. We made a big move to get a third baseman, and it was Bobby Witt. I remember now. I can see that thumbnail in my head. I remember trading for Bobby Witt. Then he played here for 2 seasons, did okay, but I think who did we replace? Did we replace it? We might have replaced him for Austin. Yeah, because we traded him to Atlanta. We traded Bobby Witt for Austin Riley. That's right. And Austin Riley's a 2-time MVP. So I think we won the deal. I think we won the deal because Austin Riley won back-to-back MVPs for us. So what a stud he was, by the way. One of the best players in MLB The Show history for me. Austin Riley. Phenomenal player. But now I remember. So we traded for him in the very first season at the deadline. The very first deadline. And then he played for 2 seasons. Then we traded him in the off season for Austin Riley. And then Austin Riley becomes 2-time MVP. So I'd say that's a big-time W for us. Elijah Green, another guy that I really, really wanted. Never could get because he was just so valuable because he's so young and so good. But nobody here that was ever on our team. Nobody on the Cubs. Nobody on the Reds, I don't think. No. What about the Brew Crew? We never had anybody here. I wanted to get Tamar Johnson, but he was too valuable. Verdugo, we had Alex Verdugo for a season, and he played very well. I was happy with Alex Verdugo. I didn't really want to let him go, but I think his contract might have been too expensive, and we just couldn't pay it. Or we traded him for a better player. I don't remember. I don't remember what the situation called for, but I do remember that he was on our team, and he played very well for the season that he was here. Aaron Judge signed with Pittsburgh in the very first offseason and never left. That's pretty impressive, and he had some really good seasons. He put up 42 home runs the season that he signed. Then he had 37, 48. So, I mean, he was putting up some pretty good home run numbers in these seasons. But he's 35 now. He's still on a massive contract. I don't know how the Pirates are going to get out of that. They might just have to retire him at that point. Just keep him around. We never had Brandon Lowe or Brandon Lau. Let's see. Anybody on the Cardinals? No, not that I recognize. We didn't have this guy, did we? No, we didn't. Let's see. I don't see anybody on the Diamondbacks. Or, oh, how could I forget Munetaka Murakami, our DH for a season. This one right here. He just, I never got the rhythm with him. He might have been a good player, and it seems like he was a solid player. He was never, like, fantastic, but he seems to be, like, a pretty solid player. I just never could get it right with him. I could never get that connection. We never really clicked off the jump, and I had to move on from him. It seems like he's done pretty well for himself in Colorado, but he was our DH for a season. Let's see. The Dodgers got Jonathan India. That's pretty crazy. We don't have anybody on this Dodgers team, though. Never got Fernando Tatis. Wanted him. Too expensive, too valuable, but never had a chance to get Fernando Tatis. Manny Machado, no. We never had Teoscar Hernandez. We did have Tetsuto Yamada, though. Another one of our international free agents. He moves on to the Padres. He was a good player for us. In the season, I think this might have been the season where he subbed in as the starting second baseman because he played in 51 games. So, I mean, I enjoyed playing with him. I think the problem with him was he was just a little bit too old. He was past his prime a little bit. So, I wasn't ever going to be the guy. So, that was kind of holding him back, at least in my opinion. What about here for the Jose Ramirez is on the Giants? He's been on the Giants since the second offseason. Some of these moves I do not remember. Do not remember them at all. Joey Bart, good catcher. What about the Orioles? Do we have anybody on the Orioles? Adley Rutschman, no. Nope, nobody there. What about the Red Sox? Bryce Harper, I remember him going to the Red Sox. That was pretty crazy. Vladdy Jr. is also here. Austin Meadows, we had Austin Meadows. He was our first left fielder. Austin Meadows was our first left fielder. I think also he was a part of the first trade deadline. I think it was Bobby Witt and Austin Meadows were the guys. But Austin Meadows was a great player, just wasn't fast enough. His attributes, his speed is in 54 now, but he's 32, so it's a little bit lower. But he just wasn't fast enough in that left field. I wanted somebody that was faster in the left field spot. Funny enough, we ended up getting Yordan Alvarez. So, I mean, that's not anybody super speed that I was replacing him with, but it's Yordan Alvarez. Of course, I'm going to replace him with that. But Austin Meadows, I never really wanted to let go. It was just the fact that he was a little slow for the left field spot. I didn't think he fit there. But he's turned himself into a 95 overall, and he's had really, really good seasons in St. Louis and a couple in Boston. So he's had a fantastic career. Good for him. This Boston team's pretty decent. Pretty decent. The Yankees have Juan Soto. I think he signed here. Yeah, he signed here when he was a free agent after Washington. Ozzy Albies is here, but nobody else from us. Wander Franco never was able to get. He's up to a 97, and he's 27 years old. Wander Franco is a monster. Jesse Winker. Oh, here's Sidney Trainer. I remember you. We had you for one season, and similar to Murakami, just never clicked with him. He just wasn't that good. He's turned himself to a 90 overall. I'm happy for him. He had 31 home runs the season we traded him, or let him go when he went to Tampa. But I thought he was going to perform a little bit better. I mean, he was coming off of a 19 home run season, back-to-back 19 home run seasons, 50-plus RBIs. I thought he was going to be a pretty solid player for us. He just never really panned out. At least for me, I didn't click with him. And then he goes to Tampa and has a good season. Good for him. Obviously, how could we forget about Pete Alonso? How could we forget about the polar bear? I mean, him and Frankie Lindor turned our team around. I mean, this season alone, 55 home runs, 110 RBIs, and had a slugging of 592. Unbelievable season from Pete Alonso. I can't believe that I almost forgot about him. He played in all 162 games, led the league in home runs. This is right before we got Yordan Alvarez, because I remember him and Yordan were battling for the home run title, and Yordan finished with 52, I think 52. I'm not sure. If we see him, we'll check. But Pete Alonso just edged him out, had a fantastic year. I don't know how he didn't win MVP that year. A fantastic season. The polar bear, man. How could you forget about him? And then obviously Frankie was here as well. I think we got both of them at the same deal. Like, we didn't have to make two separate trades. I think we traded for both of them at the same exact trade. I don't remember who we traded. Was this when we traded away our starting pitcher? What's his name? I can see him in my head. Sean Manaea? Is this when we traded away Sean Manaea? Or was it when we traded away the other A's starting pitcher? The one that had a little bit more value. I can't remember. I think we traded one of our starting pitchers in that first season to get Frankie Lindor and Pete Alonso. And they were phenomenal. They were amazing for us. But then funny enough, they both end up in Toronto. Did they go? No. Pete ends up in Cincinnati for a season and then goes to Toronto, which is crazy because Lindor is already in Toronto. But these guys were studs. They were the turning point of the franchise, because then the next season we get what's his face, Yordan Alvarez, and that really starts to help turn the team around. So those were like the building blocks of what this team would end up becoming. Nobody on the White Sox. Anybody on the Guardians that we have? I don't think so. Nobody on we do have a couple people on Tigers. How could I forget Scott Everett, our DH for a season? But similar to Murakami and similar to Trainer, we never really clicked with Scott Everett. I'm glad that he performed really well for the Tigers as I think he's their first baseman. He had 29 home runs, 114 RBIs, and he played well against us in the divisional. So he got his revenge, I guess. He got his revenge. And how could you forget about Oneil Cruz? One of the best players on the team for a couple of seasons. Super fast, super good. Another sneaky guy where I struggled to hit with him, but when I did hit with him, it was electric. He had some good seasons for us. He had some very, very good seasons for us. And we developed him into a very, very good shortstop. And then we moved him on because we ended up bringing in... Who did we move? Wait, hold on. Who did we move to shortstop? We had... Oh, that's right. We moved CJ to shortstop because it was his time. And then we traded away Oneil Cruz. I blanked on his name for a second. We traded away Oneil Cruz. So let's go back to the Pirates and finish this up. Or actually, it was the Tigers. Let's go back to the Tigers and finish this up, I should say. Let's go back to the Tigers. There we go. So, Tadahito Taguchi, we had him in our minor league system for a couple of seasons. Another one of our international free agents. I think all of our international free agents, at least the ones that made it to the bigs, are all gone now. I don't think we have any of the original ones. But he was okay. I never liked him too much. He was kind of along the lines of the other second baseman. I forget his name now. Of course I do. Anybody on the Twins? We never had Austin Martin. No, we didn't have Austin Martin. We did have... How could I forget about Alejandro Kirk? You can't forget about this man. This man was a stud. Took over the starting catcher spot for Sean Murphy. Because Sean Murphy was the longest tenured A still on the roster from the original Oakland A's. He was there for a while as a Cougar, and I didn't really want to get rid of him, but then eventually we did, and we moved in Alejandro Kirk, and he was a stud. I love Alejandro Kirk, man. Just a little 5'8", 245 truck. Love this man, and he was awesome for us. I really enjoyed hitting with him and having him on the team. What a beast. Then we get to the Astros, our arch rivals. These Astros, man, they gave us some problems in the first couple of seasons, but then towards the end, once we started building up that talent, getting those guys ready, we started beating them up, and we won the division 3 straight years, and they actually started to slip a little bit. They don't have very many high-rated players, and it looks like Jose Altuve's finally called it a career, unless they just moved him and he's not on the team anymore. I don't know. But it looks like he's either retired or he's just not on the Astros. I would guess he'd retire. But this team, they've given us some problems. That is for sure. We've got many a battle with the Houston Astros. Anybody on the Angels that we had? Nope. Nobody there. And then we're back to the boys. So is there, I can't see free agency. I didn't know if I didn't see Yordan Alvarez in there. Is Yordan Alvarez, does he not exist anymore? Did he retire? I guess we could go to, cannot search players because we're in this. I might have to advance day. Let me just quickly show you guys the stats for the final postseason. I don't know if I've ever did that. So these are some of the numbers for the guys in the postseason. They disappointed. I do remember that, that they disappointed. I think I showed the stats at the end of the last episode, but they did not perform very, very well at all. All right, so advanced day. Let me go retired players. So Jason Hayward retires. Joey Meneses, or Meneses, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He retires. JT Brubaker. Anybody big? Anybody big? Colin Moran. Ian McKinney. Nick Ahmed. Nobody really jumping off the page so far. G-Man Choi retires. Poor free agent market. Mike Clevenger. Mike Clevenger was on our team. Yeah. We paid him a bag in the first offseason. We paid him a bag, and then he didn't work out. He went 9-12. He sucked, and we traded him. I remember that. Big. Sir Anthony Dominguez retires. Adam Duvall. Jared Eichhoff. Nathan Eovaldi. Jerry's Familia. Derek Fisher, point guard for the Lakers. Yasmani Grandal. Sonny Gray. Randall Grichuk. Okay, so there's some names down here. Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer's still playing. 39 years old. He wasn't on a team for 5 years. What are you doing, Hos? Just retire at that point. You're not going to get picked up. That's kind of funny. I don't think there's anybody else that's going to blow me away here in terms of name. Frankie Montas. Frankie Montas was the guy. Frankie Montas was the other pitcher. I knew I'd remember. I think he was, because we traded him to the Mets. He was the pitcher that we traded for Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor in the same deal. That's right. Frankie Montas. I remember him now. That's crazy that he's still here. Moose was in free agency and didn't get picked up. My God. Just retire. Nobody wants you. No Hall of Famers. I didn't really see anybody that deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. It's a good thing we're not going into the... Actually, we have some decent money. We have some decent Monet. Okay, now I can go to like player search and stuff. So let me search for... actually, just let me search first name. Yordan. Did he retire? He didn't. He's on the Dodgers. I just passed him, I guess. Huh. I didn't even see him. But these seasons that he was put up, he had 51 the year before we brought him in. That was the year that he battled Pete Alonso for the home run crown. And Pete had 55. But then he had 36 for us, 34, 43. So in his 3 seasons here, he was really, really good. I liked having him on the team. Let me just go to the actual free agency period. Exclusive free agent offers. Tender a qualifying offer. It's not going to matter too much. That's already $41 million down the drain. I just want to see who is in free agency this go round, just in case we were going to move to another season, but we aren't. So we got like Shane Baz, Aaron Nola, Mackenzie Gore, some good pitchers. Somebody that I'd be interested in. I'd also be interested in a Joey Bart or a Henry Davis or Luis Campusano. Luis Campusano was never here, was he? No, I wanted him. I talked about getting him, but I never actually got him. I did want him. Henry Davis, a stud. I'd like to get him. He's going to cost a lot, though. What about anything else? Is there anybody crazy? Obviously, we'd have to bring back Jazz Chisholm. Manny Machado's old. Nobody really at shortstop. Nobody left field. Center field, there's Riley Green, who I talked about wanting. But we'd have to bring back Julio Rodriguez as well. Those two guys are going to cost us. The free agency class isn't amazing. We probably wouldn't even be able to purchase any other free agent contracts because we have to offer arbitration for all these guys, and we have to tender contracts for the rest of these guys. So our $60 million that we do have would be swapped up like that because we already have $41 million in those qualifying offers for Jazz and for Julio. So we'd have no money to buy anybody. So it's a good thing that we're not moving on. But yeah, this has been a really fun series. It started because of the fact that I did the Chicago Cougars in the NFL, and I wanted to have like this whole little Chicago Cougar universe where we had like a multiverse kind of thing where we expanded into a bunch of different sports. We did hockey for a couple episodes. We did the NBA for a season or two. We did obviously MLB, and then we had Madden. So I was kind of like doing all the core sports. And this one was pretty fun. I had a really good time. We got 7 seasons out of it, which is pretty impressive. That's more than we did with the Cougars, or with the Madden version of them. It was pretty fun. We had a lot of good times. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We won a World Series, so we completed the rebuild. And like I said at the beginning, if you enjoy MLB The Show content and you enjoy my MLB The Show content, feel free to go check out the Juice Baseball channel. It is strictly MLB The Show. And right now, we are finishing up the Cincinnati Reds rebuild that I was doing on there on MLB The Show 22. But when I get done with that, we are going to move right into MLB The Show 23. I have the game, so I am going to start making some content on that. I'm probably going to be doing at least 2 different series on that, maybe even some special videos. So be ready because Juice Baseball channel is going to get crazy with some up-and-coming content about the new game. So hope you guys are excited. If you enjoyed this little reminiscing video talking about the series as a whole, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.